Good evening, everyone. Today is March 25th. A little late on the uploading schedule, I know, but we have great things in store for you all. Elihu's over here hyped up like a beast. I'm over here chilling like a villain.
This is our 42 episode on the pod. It's close to 420. It's close enough. That's a good number.
We got to think of something for the 50th episode. If you have anything, please let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Really helps us a lot. So if you're enjoying this content. And here's something that I'd like to share with you. I mean, it's Filecoin's already pulled up on the screen. And the reason we're talking about Filecoin, everyone, is because of the roaring uptrend. It's actually gone berserk. Look at the donk on this one, huh? That is absurd. When we talked about Filecoin on the pod, we were mentioning IPFS. Elihu actually brought Filecoin to our attention, and it was at $20 when we talked about it.
That's right. I unfortunately did not invest in Filecoin, but Peter for sure put his money where his mouth was, and he made some pretty decent returns.
Yeah, with a mere $500 investment when it was at $25, $20, $22, I've already made double what I put in. More than double.
Which is awesome. I mean,
oh, it's great. I want to pull it up here. The account is at 2,032. I only have so the total account is 2,168. I put there's a little bit of Bitcoin in here, but that doesn't matter. We're focusing on Filecoin. So if we look at the transaction history, we talked about this here. Where is it? Deposit $500, and I bought $500 worth of Filecoin this day here. If you can see, you probably can't, but it says 1/22/21, the day after my birthday, about $500 worth of Filecoin. I have 21 Filecoins, and then now the value has just increased to $2,035, and I also have it earning interest. There's this thing called staking, which I'm not very privy to. Unfortunately, I don't really know much about it, but I just saw 8% returns every month. I was like, let's go. And this is incredible. I mean, 2,000 divided by 500, that's a 4x return. So I didn't double my money. I 4 times my money. So this is the kind of stuff that I mean, it's not like we don't recommend anything because you will lose
all
money.
Your money.
Yeah, you'll lose money. But this is one of those things where I was just like, screw it. And that's good. That's interesting. So anyway, not to sounds like I'm bragging. I'm not trying to brag here, but I'm just trying to show you that this is something that still has a lot of potential.
A lot of potential. So I mean, I kind of want to talk about what Filecoin's mission is.
Yeah, let's do it.
Here. Its mission is to
pull up the website.
Create a decentralized, efficient, and robust foundation for humanity's information. So to advance that mission, they've created a decentralized storage network that lets anyone in the world store or retrieve files. They hope Filecoin will make storage cheaper and more reliable by helping small players compete directly with well-known centralized services, providing a common interface for providers of all sizes and greatly reducing migration and transaction costs. So think AWS, but decentralized.
AWS, by the way, is Amazon Web Services, which is a file storage system
on the cloud.
Yeah, and just to be clear though, anybody can really store files and retrieve files. So when you're storing information in a hard drive or in a server or something like that, you basically are taking the cost of electricity and all these other aspects to store this information, so it's not on your computer. When your phone can't download an app because you have too many photos and you have to delete your photos and all that stuff, huge headache. So that's why the cloud has become so useful to store your information. But it costs money to store information and also retrieve information. So the photos that you might have on your phone that you put in the cloud every time that you download them when you want to see them, so it comes back on your phone, that actually costs money. It's very small, but it's becoming more expensive over time. And so,
Well, also as web pages and the amount of data gets more abundant as we progress as a society, as everything becomes more technological, we're going to need a lot of file storage on the cloud as humanly possible. So Filecoin aims to help solve that problem, or help mitigate the lack of storage in a decentralized way, unlike Amazon or Google Cloud or Microsoft's Azure cloud services. So I mean, they are competing with these centralized services, but they're more so adding to the piece of to the overall pie, because ultimately we're going to need a lot of storage on the cloud for what our for what the global world, whatever the world needs to store.
But then here comes privacy concerns and the need for humanity's ability to control their own information and also their own money, which is a play on Bitcoin. But we're not going to be talking too much about Bitcoin, but it does play a role to this whole adoption to what we mentioned previously, the interplanetary file storage system. Yes, if you didn't hear our last podcast on it, I did say interplanetary. Interplanetary. You guys probably are thinking, what the heck? Like from Mars to the moon or all these other planets? Yeah, exactly.
It's supposed to work on Mars.
And this is almost like the beginning of any sci-fi film, but this actually exists. So the IPFS interplanetary file storage system, it's nascent, brand new. And Filecoin is the currency of this internet.
Right. So people that put up their hardware to allow for storage are going to get paid in Filecoin by people that need that storage, who will pay them in Filecoin. So as this mass adoption continues, which me and Peter think, that's the future, Filecoin's price is going to increase a significant amount. I think it's at a $4 billion market cap right now, which honestly is considerably low.
5.5 billion.
6. Yeah. So it's considerably low when you think about the huge potential that this network can have. And
it's a baby.
It's a baby. And if you still think this is sci-fi, here's something for you. Grayscale Investments, the world's largest digital asset manager.
ARK invests in Grayscale, by the way. Kathy Wood, yo.
She likes Grayscale.
Yeah, she invests in Grayscale.
So they're digging into the world of decentralized finance, and they've added, or they're going to add, a Filecoin trust product to their management.
Basically, because they have Grayscale is basically like an index fund for cryptocurrencies. Yeah, that allows institutions like hedge funds or like Kathy Wood to invest in them in the public markets and not go under scrutiny for under the SEC. But
there's some benefits, right? So institutional money, they kind of want to play risk free. They don't want to deal with private keys and setting all the stuff up that you would need, or dealing with exchanges that are for cryptocurrencies. They can just indirectly bet on the price of these projects through these trusts, through like Grayscale Investments Trust, by also avoiding a ton of slippage. And what slippage is basically if you're investing a large amount of money into an asset like Filecoin or Bitcoin, that might move the price, right? So if it's a large amount of money, it's going to move the price. And you kind of want to avoid that. So what Grayscale does is that they originally purchase a lot of the tokens associated with these projects, and they're able to mitigate slippage in that way. So if you want to buy Bitcoin, you get the Grayscale Bitcoin, GBTC, which avoids slippage, and you now have exposure to cryptocurrency, specifically Bitcoin. So it's very risk free. It's good for taxes. It's good for transparency, especially if you're an institution, which is very needed for government reasons and regulations.
And just to add on to that point, there's much more that goes into when big money invests into new asset classes. So Kathy Wood today had an interview alongside Kevin O'Leary, which if you all don't know who Kevin O'Leary is, he's Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, very popular investor. And they had a conjoined interview. I don't know who was hosting it, but they talked about how Kathy Wood, and I agree with her, said Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general is the first new asset class since the 1600s. Think about that. Digital currency is the first new, actually new, not just this, BS.
Not a blip.
It's not a blip.
Nothing.
It's not a sales thing. It's the first new asset class to exist since the 1600s. And what's interesting is how institutions are able to invest. So we talked about Grayscale Investment Trust and how they need to have like an ETF style where someone else takes the liability, like Grayscale, to basically conjoin all these cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, Bitcoin, now Filecoin, and all these other ones, Polkadot, all these things that are under Grayscale. But now Kevin O'Leary has stated, because he talks to big money, that they want only cryptocurrency that is mined a certain way. So if you have a fund that supports sustainable energy, green innovation, you don't want the Bitcoin that you're holding as a separate asset class to be mined in, say, somewhere like China, where they might be using large amounts of coal to mine this Bitcoin. And Kevin O'Leary calls it blood coins.
It's very energy taxing.
And just to step back a little bit, I know I'm going on really far on this, but Kathy Wood, saying that Bitcoin is a new asset class that we haven't seen since the 1600s as a new asset class. We see the fact that people are absorbing as such, just like Tesla put it on their balance sheets, just like MicroStrategy has put it on their balance sheets,
And Square.
and Square as well on their balance sheets. And balance sheet, for example, is just an accounting term saying like how much cash you have, how much basically assets or liabilities you have. And, one of the assets that are being put on balance sheets by these innovative companies is Bitcoin. So, but the more institutional investors are going to look at this. So let's pull up this video really quick.
And just a side note, this week it was announced that you can now buy Teslas with Bitcoin.
Right.
But really, it's just Elon Musk buying Bitcoin with Teslas.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it didn't really do anything. It didn't really do much to the price, unfortunately. But, I'm starting to think that these next couple of weeks are going to be a booming week in the stock market after we've hit low. We've literally hit pre-2021 lows on the S&P.
Yeah, all the markets are bloody right now.
Bloodbath.
Stock market, cryptos, it's pretty brutal.
Losing lots and lots of money.
Just like you would if you listen to us and follow our advice.
Lots and lots of money. And let me just pull up something really quick. A lot of money being lost. Except for Filecoin. So let's listen to this real quick. Kevin O'Leary talking about Bloodcoin.
Involved with institutions, in constant dialogue with them and sovereign funds in various countries, I got a ton of phone calls. I was not anticipating this, and they were all the same. The coin you own, the Bitcoin you own, where was it mined? Who cares? They said, no. That coin was probably mined in China, where they take coal and they burn it to generate electricity at an ever-increasing amount to mine Bitcoin. And they have human rights issues with the rest of the world, and they have human rights abuses, and they're a sanctioned country in terms of tariffs of the United States, and you own coin mined there? So if you know, and I know this now, every single coin, you can tell exactly when it was created, but you can't tell where it was created. And so to be compliant with these compliant committees that are sitting on top of institutions that care about sustainability, care about human rights abuses, care about origin of assets, including Bitcoin. So I said, okay, new plan. I have to own my own coin, virgin coin that I know was mined compliantly. In other words, the most efficient I can own, using the least electricity I can use, and not in countries that are sanctioned in any way.
Right. So basically you get the idea. And there are a lot of investors and institutional investors, hedge funds and stuff that are really taking into account the principles, the moral, ethical principles behind where their investors' money are being invested. And if you think about it, there's also a very innovative concept that was recently done amongst Muslim religions, where you if you have a fund that you're investing, say, huge amounts of money from a Muslim background and ethical standpoint and moral principle, you can't be investing in alcohol companies like Bud Light. They don't believe in that. So why would they be able to profit? It's against their religion. So it's the same idea against human rights principles. If you really believe in what you believe, you're not going to buy Nike because they use sweatshots, right? I mean, whatever. Everybody has their own principles. But what Kevin O'Leary has said, it kind of goes back to the argument around blood diamonds, where, there was slave labor, being used to create diamonds and find diamonds and stuff. So very interesting concept and pretty awesome. We said we weren't going to talk about Bitcoin, but we ended up just going right into it.
A good amount of this episode was on Bitcoin.
Oh, really? We just go so far into it.
But
talking more about Filecoin.
It's a buy. I still think it's a buy. I still think it's early. I mean, its mission, what it has in scope for the future is huge, and if they're able to, succeed, and it's the future. And it's
pro-human rights in a sense, because it stands for decentralization, power to the people, and also it's just a matter of like keeping things secure. I mean, we saw a big rise in this when BitTorrent came about, which was the Onion network.
Oh yeah,
that was so BitTorrent.
It's like a decentralized internet browser.
So pretty much IPFS and Filecoin are solving this problem. The BitTorrent had a problem because it was open source, screw you to the man, all this types of ideologies. But at the same time, like, if there was no incentive in BitTorrent to have people run these individual private networks that allowed individuals to, say, surf the web and also store content that would not be allowed in the United States on the regular World Wide Web somewhere else, so there was no incentive. There's only to a certain point that people are going to stand to their principles. I mean, look at what happened with GameStop. People aren't holding the line. People don't care anymore, in my opinion. But I think it's dead. So what Filecoin does is that it allows that incentive. It also organizes content in a certain way and makes content a little bit faster, because BitTorrent is very slow.
And I just want to add a little bit more about Filecoin. Can we put that TED Talk song on?
Yes.
So Filecoin has a long way to go, right? Some incentives they have going on is, right now, currently, you can put up hardware to host files. That hardware does not necessarily have to store anything, and you'll still get paid in Filecoin. Sure, that's pretty cool. You can make some passive income on the side, but one way that Filecoin is incentivizing users to actually start storing files is by having them go out there to achieve clients that can store stuff on their hardware, and they will get paid significantly more in Filecoin. So with this incentive protocol, Filecoin can easily become commonly, used.
Because it pays people for holding the liability of storing information that might not be allowed to the grander population or those who are in charge.
Exactly. And right now, setting up your own hardware, center is a little expensive and quite complicated, but they're definitely working on ways to mitigate the complexity of it all so that anybody can participate, because ideally that is the goal. You want as many nodes being us with computers, to exist in the world. I mean, look at the planet Earth on their website. That's what they want.
But you want to be paid for the amount of energy you're using. So this is how it works. I have a very important document.
And I have a very cool hardware system that can store a lot of data.
He has a hard drive. So the hard drive, I need someone to store this in a secret place where no one's going to find it. So I'm like, hey, Elihu, or XYZ pin number node, here you go, store this file. And I also sent him Filecoin. Boom, here's a Filecoin.
I accept the Filecoin and I say, yeah, I can host your files. Sure.
How much does it cost? Half a Filecoin? For sure. How much is half a Filecoin right now? It's going to cost me around $45. Let's say $45, $46. All right, awesome. Pay Filecoin, you store my files.
I just made money doing nothing.
But now I'm like, hey, other person over there in the great distance by the Great White Plains, you want to see this revealing file? Go check it out. It's going to cost you half a Filecoin. So he goes to Elihu's node, and then he also, Great White Plains guy, goes and talks to Elihu, pays him half a Filecoin. So Elihu says, okay, I'm going to give that file to you. So there's two processes in any data storage system. There's a storage and there's the request for that storage, that data, the retrieval process.
And the best part, it's a lot faster. Why? Because you're ideally going to store files on nodes that are very in your vicinity.
Thank you. This is Pineapple. So hopefully that understood. What you're gonna finish a thought there?
No, that was about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So ideally, now there's an incentive. So if any of you remember this whole craze with the Silk Road and the libertarian ideals of screw the state, everybody wants to be their own person, you have to control your own information and your money. This is exactly how we're gonna do it, by incentivizing other people, incentivizing those who hold the liability of storing this content, and really just making things happen. Power to the people. We don't want somebody with their thumb on us all the time. I'm not saying screw the government. I'm not saying that. I'm not an anarchist. I do think we need some government. I don't know about you.
We need some regulation. I agree.
I'm totally cool with that. But hey, there's some things out there that must.
But I also think the government's working really slowly, and if we can just get some decentralization projects like this, that would speed up the progress of humanity and the world as a whole, then I think that's also pretty cool.
And mind you, in the last episode, we really discussed how IPFS, the Interplanetary File Storage System, is the future of the internet, and how it basically streamlines the whole retrieval process of the data storage system, in a sense. So because, if Elihu is close by to me and he has, a Netflix show that I really like, I can get that instantly. No buffer. It's fine. And you can pay for that with Filecoin. Wow, interesting. You could start your own underground Netflix system, pay a monthly fee in Filecoin.
Yeah.
And this is a wash. That's like money laundering. I don't know. But something's going to happen here. It's going to be huge. I'm sure it's already happening. That's what, listen, it's not because it got added on Grayscale. There's something going on that we don't know about in the dark web, in the deep web, in the Onion network.
But that's the thing. Grayscale knows something we don't, because they also are adding a Brave browser, Brave token, trust. And why is that important? Because the Brave browser uses IPFS.
A Brave browser being...
Brave browser is just a browser like Google Chrome or Safari. It's just decentralized. The token for them is BAT, and you can just download it. You get rewarded in BAT by looking at ads. So they actually pay you for looking at ads, and they also let you pay creators. It's a really cool platform. It's growing every day, and they also happen to support IPFS. So, Grayscale put BAT and they put Filecoin. I think, they're either very high on hopium for this kind of technology, or they know something we don't. And that, to me, is very comforting for the future of this, network, this decentralized network.
The market cap is at $1 trillion.
Yeah. So it's looking really good.
What the heck? When did that happen?
No, it's not $1 trillion, dude.
That's 3 commas. Oh, it's $1 billion.
Yeah, it's $1 billion.
Damn it. I'm not good at math.
No
Anyway.
ways, it's not more than Bitcoin. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, when did that happen? Anyway, so
You can buy Filecoin on Gemini. You can stake it there as well. This is not financial
Gemini.
advice. You will lose all your money.
Listen, Gemini, they got Filecoin, and it's really easy to download, very easy. They added a bunch of NFT stuff. We were gonna talk about some NFTs, but forget it. It's already, we're 25 minutes in. Hope you enjoyed the video. We're gonna clip this up a little bit, share it. Is there anything else that we should probably discuss before we ride out and cut? Oh, Filecoin's open source, just like IPFS, except IPFS was actually founded by a Mexican person. Protocol Labs.
And what open source means is that anybody can contribute to the code source. So if you're a developer and you're very skilled and you know smart contracts and decentralized and blockchain and all that, then you can download the code on your computer and work on it and, push some changes to it, and they approve it and they like it, and then, you're good to go. So anybody can add on to it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so pretty much Interplanetary file storage system is the future. And it's the way that we can do peer-to-peer storage. And Filecoin is the currency of how we pay each other. If that wasn't clear earlier, I'm sure I'm just repeating myself. But anyway, you all have a wonderful day. Let's put the outro. We're going to use it. Hey, everyone. Peter here. You just listened to Chunks. If you want to reach out and send some facts in or learn more about the show, send me a DM through Instagram, Peter Vivas with 3 S's, PeterVivasSS. Thank you so much, and please tune in to the next episode next week.